the value which we have obtained in the present iteration, that is in the 9th iteration, is subtracted from the 8th iteration. So how can we find out the roots of an equation? C is equal to A plus B by 2. Hello everyone, it is Dr. Ravikumar Vaibi. In today's session, we shall see as to how we can find out the roots of an equation using the bisection method once again for different types of equations. In my first session, I discussed about the bisection method for polynomial type of equations. In today's session, we shall see as to how we can find out the roots of an equation for transcendental type of equations. Let me tell you what is the meaning of transcendental type of equations. Here, in this case, bisection method, we will consider that the transcendental equations as a very important topic at the beginning of this session. Suppose if I have any term called e to the power of minus 6 into x square minus 3, that is f of x is equal to. Here we have the first term which is of type exponential, and on this term we have a polynomial type of equations. Suppose if I have only polynomial terms in my equation, that is the first one, polynomial type of equations. Example, x cube minus 12. This is called as polynomial equation. We have polynomial terms here with constant together forms a polynomial equations. Second type of equation is exponential type of equation. Example, e to the power of minus x plus e to the power of minus x square. We have an exponential form of the equations, so it is called as an exponential equations. The third one is trigonometric equations. We have sine of minus x plus cos square x. This is of type trigonometry, so I will call this as a trigonometric type of equations. Similarly, the fourth type of equation is logarithmic equations. So we have the logarithmic equations of type log of minus x plus log of minus x square. This is of type logarithmic type of terms, so we will call it as logarithmic equations. So totally we have 4 different types of equations. The first equation is polynomial equation. The second type of equation is exponential equation. The third one is trigonometric equations. Fourth one is logarithmic equations. Suppose if I have a combination of these terms in one single equation, that is exponential and polynomial, exponential and logarithmic, trigonometric type of equations, such equations are called as transcendental equations. That is called as a transcendental equations. When you want to find out the roots of an equation of type transcendental, then we have to apply this condition, that is f of a into f of b is less than 0. When you find out the midpoint of two intervals, that is in the first interval you have a and b as the interval values, in which case you will find out the value c, that is a and b is an interval, c is equal to a plus b by 2. You will also get the value c. Now you have to find out f of a, f of b, f of c. If f of a into f of c is less than 0, then we have to assign some values to the new value of a and b in the next iteration. That is a is equal to c. You can see it here, f of a into f of c. The sign of that depends on this. If it is less than 0, c must be assigned to b, else c must be assigned to a. If that is the case, you can say that a is equal to, that is b is equal to c. Else you will assign that a is equal to c. Only when the condition f of a into f of c turns out to be less than 0. When it is greater than 0, we will assign the value of c to a and proceed forward. Now, let us look into one of the examples now. Here, this is the algorithm we are considering here. That is c is equal to a plus b by 2. Then f of a and f of b, f of c is determined. F of a, f of b, f of c. Along with that, a, b, c is determined. Then if f of a into f of c, that is these two terms, multiplication of this, f of a into f of c is less than 0, we state that b is equal to c, else a is equal to c. This is the condition we have here. If this is the condition here, and this becomes your end of this if else block. If this is the case, what has to be done? This has to be repetitively followed until the convergence criteria is satisfied. What is that condition? If there is an error called epsilon equal to 0.001, that means if you have obtained c is equal to 3.25365, this is the value you have obtained in the 8th iteration. In the 9th iteration, if you get 3.25355, this is an example. C9 minus C8 always leads to the value 0.000 something around this, which is less than this epsilon. That is the value which we have obtained in the present iteration, that is in the 9th iteration, is subtracted from the 8th iteration. That the obviously which leads to this value, which is less than this epsilon. Then we state that the roots of an equation is found and the convergence condition is met. Then we stop executing this while loop. So if that is the case, let us see to one of the transcendental type of equations for which we want to find out the roots of an equation using the bisection method. If that is the case, let f of x equal to 3x plus sine x. We have a polynomial kind of term here. We have a trigonometric type of term here. We have an exponential type of term here. So I will call this as, together I will call this as transcendental form of equation. So let us find out the roots of an equation for this transcendental equation. What is the first step we need to find out in case of bisection method? In case of bisection method, we want to find out the initial values in the first step. What is that initial value? The interval a and b. One of the value must be negative and another must be positive. So if that is the case, I will substitute the value of 0 is equal to x equal to 1.5 according to this. If that is the case, f of 1.5 is equal to 3 into 1.5 plus sine of 1.5 minus exponential of 1.5. This leads to the value which is equal to 1.015 for f of 2, that is f of 2.0 is equal to 3 into 2.0 plus sine of 2.0 minus exponential of 2.0. This leads to minus 1.9797572. Since the two values are, one of the values is positive and the other one is negative, we say that these are the initial values. So then a is equal to 1.5, comma b is equal to 2.0 are the initial values of my equation. If that is the case, 1.5 is one of the values, 2 is another interval wherein we are going to find out the roots of an equation. This is one of the roots of an equation. Another root lies at this point of juncture, second root. So let us not concentrate on it. We shall concentrate only on one of the roots of an equation, that is this. If this is the case, between a is equal to 1.5 and b is equal to 2, the root lies. So how can we find out the roots of an equation? C is equal to a plus b by 2. C is equal to a plus b divided by 2. So C is equal to 1.5 plus 2.0 divided by 2 turns out to be 3.5 divided by 2. 3.5 turns out, 0.5 divided by 2 turns out to be 1.75. That is, C is equal to 1.75. Then f of a is equal to this value 1.0158059117, comma f of b is equal to this value minus 1.9797586672. Then f of c is equal to 1.75 into that equation minus 0.27061672. So this is my f of c. A is equal to 1.5, comma b is equal to 2.0, comma c is equal to this. Now, what is the condition specifies here? F of a into f of c. That is, f of a into f of c turns out to be the value 0. Then f of a into f of c turns out to be a value less than 0. Then f of a into f of c, let me write down here, f of a into f of c is less than 0, because we have one of the value which is positive and the other one is negative. So obviously it remains negative. F of a into f of c is, that is, f of a is 1.5 into f of 1.75 is always negative, because one of the value is positive and the other one is negative. So that turns out to be a negative value. So if it is negative, what has to be done here? If it is negative, that is less than 0. If it is negative less than 0, what has to be done? C must be assigned to B. That is, we have a value which is equal to this. That is, A is equal to 1.5, B is equal to 1.75. This is the value of interval for my second iteration. In the second iteration, if you look at this, you will clearly understand that one of the roots of an equation is this, between 0 and 0.5. If I consider that one of the equation as value as A, that is A is equal to 1.5 and B is equal to 2.0, then C is equal to 1.75, then f of A is equal to that value. 1.01580, 1.01580591. Then f of B is equal to that value, minus 1.979, minus 1.979. Nine seven nine 58672. If that is the case, what has to be the value of f of c then? Let me write down the value of f of c somewhere here. That is f of c. This is another column. Let me have these terms here. Now, since f of a into f of c is positive or negative, since it is negative, what has to be the value of a? The value of a remains same as it is in the second iteration. This is the first iteration, this is second iteration. This becomes my new value, that is 1.75. Then a and b are these terms, that is 1.5 and 1.75. Then what has to be the value of c? C is equal to 1.5 plus 1.75 divided by 2. So this becomes 3.25 divided by 2. That is c is equal to 1.625. C is equal to 1.625. Then C is equal to 1.625. What is the value of f of a, which is already known to you? That is 1.01580591. What is the value of f of b? Since it is already obtained, that is f of c in the previous iteration, that is minus 0.270, minus 0.270, 61672. 61672, that is this negative term. We shall find out that minus 1.75 is, this becomes f of b now, that is minus 0.27061, 672. Then what is f of c then? F of c then 0.420112333. Now what is f of a into f of c now? F of a into f of c, that is 1.5 into this term, that turns out to be, that is f of a into f of c. Now both are positive, that turns out to be a positive value. So if it is positive, what has to be done? This becomes my new value. According to this condition, f of a into f of c is less than 0, assign c to b, else assign c to a. If it is positive, assign c to a, else assign c to b. In this case, it is positive. F of a into f of c is positive, so I will assign c to b. This becomes my new value 1.625 and the value of B remains same 1.75. If that is the case, what is the value of that? 1.625 plus 1. C is equal to 1.625 plus 1.75 divided by 2. That turns out to be the value which is equal to C is equal to 1.6875. This is the value. 1.6875. Now if I say that f of a, that is 1.625, this is the value 0.42011 23033. What is f of b then? 1.75. 1.575 remains as it is, minus 0.27061672672. Now, what is f of c then? F of c is 0.0872489267, which is a positive term. What is f of a into f of c? Now, this is a positive, this is also a positive. That is positive into positive, that turns out to be a positive value. So, this becomes a positive. If it is positive, what has to be the new value of a in the fourth iteration? In the fourth iteration, this becomes the new value of a, that is 1.6875 and 1.75. What is 1.6875? That is this 0.087 248 9267. What is this? The value of C, 1.68 plus 1.75, that is C is equal to 1.6875 plus 1.75 all divided by 2, that is C is equal to 1.71875, that is C equal to 1.71875. Now, what is the value of B? That is 1.75. Earlier, what was the value? It's the same thing. 0.2706167. Then what is the value of f of c? I will substitute this into this equation f of c. What is the value I get? 1.71875 minus 0.477. If that is the case, f of c becomes minus 0.088473580. Since f of c is negative, f of a is positive, that is positive into negative, that turns out to be a negative value. If it is a negative value, what has to be the new value of a? What has to be the new value of a? This becomes the new value of a. That is, if it is less than 0, assign c to b. This becomes 1.71875. What is the value of a then in the fifth iteration? 1.6875. Then what is the value of c? 1.703125. What is the value of f of a? 1.6875, which is already obtained in the previous iteration, that is 0.08724899267. What is f of b? 1.71875, which you have already obtained. That is minus 0.08884773580. Then what is f of c? I will substitute this into that equation, that is c is equal to 1.703125. that is f of c is equal to 0.00017577096, that is f of c, that is 0.000177 this is positive. So if it is positive, f of a into f of c, what is f of a? This term, it is positive. Positive into positive always leads to positive value. This becomes a positive value. If it is positive, what has to be done in the next iteration, sixth iteration? This becomes my new value, that is 1.703125, and this remains as it is, 1.71875. Now what is the new value of this? C value, that is C is equal to, again, C is equal to 1.703125, 703125 plus 1.71875, 1.71875 divided by 2, that is C is equal to 1.71093, 0.7109375. Now this is the value of C we have obtained from this formula. Now I have to find out this value, that is f of a. What is f of a in the previous term? That is f of c, which is same as this. Let me copy and paste it as it is here. 0.000177096. 7096. What is f of b? 1.71875. That is the same thing, minus 0.08847735. Now what is f of c? That is this term, 1.7109375. This is minus 0.043951022. Since it is negative, f of a is what? Positive. F of a into f of c, positive into negative leads to a negative. If that is the case, if it is a negative, what has to be done? F of a into f of c, that is f of a into f of c is negative. So assign c to b. So this becomes your new value, 1.7109375. What is the value of this in the seventh iteration? That remains same, 1.703125. Now what is the value of c if that is the case? C is equal to a plus b by 2. These 2 must be added and divided by 2. That is 1.703125 plus 1.7109325. 9375. 70703. Now, what is f of c? F of a is what? Which is already obtained, that is positive value, 0.000177096. What is f of b? 1.710375, which is already obtained, minus 0.0439, 51022. Then what is f of c? This one, 1.70 here in the seventh iteration, minus 0.02173468. Since it is negative, f of a into f of c, what is f of a? This one, positive. This is positive. Positive into negative, that leads to a negative term. So f of a into f of c is negative. If it is negative, what has to be done here? C must be assigned to B. So this becomes your new C. That is 1.70703125. What is f of B? F of B remains same. in the 8th iteration, 1.703125. Now, if that is the case, what is f of c? 1.705078.125. This is the new value of c now. Now, what is the value of f of a? That is the same thing. 0. The same thing here. There is no change in value of this. So, there is no change in value in f of a. 0.000177.096. Then what is f of b then? F of b is determined from c. Earlier it was in c. So, f of c must be taken here. So, minus 0.021 minus 0.021 8373468. 73468. Now, what is f of c then? F of c is this one. This has to be substituted into that original equation 1.7050781, which is minus 0.01081774111, which is a negative. That is f of a into f of c. What is f of a? This is positive. This is negative. So, positive negative leads to a negative value. Negative value in the 8th iteration. If it is negative, what has to be the new value of a? This is the new value of a. 1.7050781. What is the new value of b, a in the next iteration? That remains same. 1.703125. Now you are finding that the value of a, that is 1.70, value of b is 1.70, which is almost equal to 0.00. If I say that the converging point is epsilon is 0.001, then obviously you will get 0.002 here. If I do in the next iteration, I will get the value which is equal to this. The 10th iteration, 1.704 and 1.705, that leads to the value which is equal to 1.704, 1.705, which is equal to 0.001. This is the epsilon. That is the terminating condition, which would be specified in the equation. Then obviously what would be the new value? That is the root of this equation. This is the root of this equation, 1.705. If you look at this term, 1.70, this is the root of the equation, 1.705. This is how we are going to find out the roots of an equation by using the bisection method. Similarly, if I take up the next roots of an equation, that is x minus e to the power of minus x, and if I substitute the value of x equal to 0, when x equal to 0, f of 0 is equal to 0 minus e to the power of minus 0. That leads to be the value minus 1. Similarly, when I substitute the value of x equal to 1 into this equation, f of 1 is equal to 1 minus e to the power of minus 1, 0.6321, which is a positive value, which is a negative value. So, the initial values are 0 and 1. So, a is equal to 0, b is equal to 1. These are the initial values. So, this is my 0. 0 is located at this point of juncture and 1 is located somewhere here. 0 and 1. I have a root between these two terms. The root lies here. The same procedure is applied here to get this 0 and 1. C is equal to 0 plus 1 by 2, that is 1 by 2, that is equal to 0.5. And f of a into f of c. Then again here we have to find out f of a, f of b, f of c, then f of a into f of c for making the decisions. What is f of a? 0 leads to minus 1. What is f of b? 0.6321. 0.6321. What is f of c? What is the value of c? C, 0.5. If that is the case, 0.5, that is 0.5 is equal to 0.5 minus e to the power of minus 0.5 minus 0.1065, 3065. This becomes minus 0.10653065. Then what is f of a into f of c? Minus into minus, this becomes a positive value. So obviously if it is positive, what is the value of c then? C becomes a. C becomes, if it is positive, c becomes a. So it is transferred to this position. A is 0.5, b remains as it is. This becomes 1. 0.5 plus c is equal to a plus b by 2. Then again in the next iteration, c is equal to 0.5 plus 1 divided by 2, that is equal to 1.5 divided by 2 is equal to 0.75. C is equal to 0.75. Then what is the value of f of c? F of a. F of a is obtained in the previous iteration. That is this one. Minus 0.1065 minus 0.1065 3065. Then what is f of b? F of b is 0.6321. F of b is this 0.75. If I substitute that into this equation, that is f of 0.75 is equal to 0.75 minus e to the power of minus 0.75. That turns out to be the value which is equal to 0.2776. F of 0.75. Double 344. Then what is f of c then? C is this one, 0.625. If I substitute that into this equation, 0.625, that is into this equation, f of 0.625, which is equal to 0.625 minus e to the power of minus 0.625, which is equal to what? 0.08973857. That is the value. 0.8973 8571. 8571. This is again negative into positive always leads to a negative value. If it is negative, what has to be done? C must be assigned to B. So C is assigned to B here. Then A remains as it is. So in this case, A is 0.5, B is 0.625. Obviously, C is equal to A plus B by 2. That is equal to 0.562. C is equal to 0.562. Now we have this value. Now in this case, f of 0.562. What is f of 0.562? It's equal to 0.562 minus e to the power of minus 0.562. That turns out to be the value minus 0.008067787. This is my f of c. What is that f of c? F of a, that is 0.5. 0.5 is kept as it is, so this remains same, minus 0.10653065. What is f of b? 0.625. 625. This becomes my b. So 0.89738571. What is f of c? This one. Minus 0.008 0677 87, which is again f of a into f of c. Negative into negative always leads to positive. So this becomes a positive term. If it is positive, what has to be done? C must be assigned to A. So I am assigning this to A. So so this is 0.562. This remains as it is, 0.625. What is the value of C? C is equal to A plus B divided by 2. That is 0.562 plus 0.625 divided by 2. That turns out to be the value which is equal to 0.593. 0.593. Now, what is 0.593? F of 0.593. F of 0.593 is equal to 0.593 into e to the power of minus 0.593, 0.40332051. This is the new value of C, that is this f of C. What is f of C? F of C is this value 0.40332051. Then what is f of B? F of B as it is 0.625. I will keep as it is 0.89738571. What is f of A? F of A is taken from C. So this becomes C. F of C becomes f of A. So minus 0.0080677787. So now f of A into f of C, it is negative. If it is negative, what has to be done? If it is negative, assign C to B. Now I am assigning C to B. A remains as it is. Now 0.562 plus 0.593 divided by 2, that is C is equal to A plus B by 2, that is 0.562 plus 0.593 divided by 2, that leads to be 0.577. What is 0.577 then? F of 0.577 equal to 0.577 into e to the power of minus 0.577. That turns out to be the value 0.01541946162. That is f of C. F of C is what? 0.0154194,162, which is a positive term. Then what has to be this? 562 remains same, so 562 remains same. That is f of A remains same in this iteration, minus 0.008067787. What is f of B then? That is f of C is taken from f of B. That is C is taken into B. So f of C becomes f of B. So this becomes f of B. So 0.40332051. Now we have negative and positive, that leads to a negative value. If it is negative, that is f of A into f of C is negative, then what has to be done? C must be assigned to B. A remains as it is. A is equal to 0.562, B is equal to 0.577. C is equal to A plus B by 2, that is 0.562 plus 0.577 divided by 2, that turns out to be the value 0.569. That is C is equal to 0.569. F of 0.569 is equal to, what is the value? This one, 0.569. It is not into, it is minus e to the power of minus 0.569. So if you do that, this turns out to be a negative value, that is this value. If it is negative once again, what has to be done? C must be assigned to B. A remains as it is. A is equal to this, B is equal to this. What is C? C is equal to A plus B divided by 2, that is 0.562 plus 0.569 divided by 2, the whole divided by 2, that turns out to be the value 0.565. Then again, what is 0.565? F of 0.565 is equal to 0.565 minus e to the power of minus 0.565 minus 0.0033601468. That is negative. This becomes a negative value, that is f of C. In the last iteration, f of C is negative. What is f of A? F of A is also a negative, that leads to be a positive value. So if you look at this term, I have A is equal to, B is equal to 0.569, A is equal to 0.562, C is equal to 0.565. If I subtract this from the previous term, what is that? 0.569, 0.565, that turns out to be 0.004. If I pre-specify the epsilon as 0.004, then obviously this becomes the root of an equation. Then finally it becomes the root of an equation. That is, the root of an equation is 0.565. This is the root. For the equation x minus e to the power of minus x. X minus e to the power of minus x. 0.565 is the root of equation x minus e to the power of minus x. So this is crossing at this point. 0.5 is here, 0.56 is here. So this becomes 0.565. That is the term 0.565. We have found the roots of an equation for this equation x minus e to the power of minus x. Similarly, we have one more equation, that is this, e to the power of f of x equal to e to the power of minus x into polynomial term x square plus 5x plus 2 plus 1 is equal to 0. Now, if I substitute the value of a is equal to 0, that is f of 0 is equal to e to the power of 0 star 0 square plus 5 into 0 plus 2 plus 1 is equal to, what is the value we get? E to the power of 0 into this. This becomes 2. 2 plus 1 is, 2 has to be multiplied with e to the power of 0. Then 1 is to be added. What is the value we get? E to the power of 0 is 1 into 2 plus 1, which is equal to the value 2 into 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. What is f of 1 or minus 1? If I take that minus 1, here if you look at this, it is crossing before this, that is from the origin. So let me take it as minus 1. If I take that minus 1, e to the power of minus 1 star minus 1 whole square plus 5 into minus 1 plus 2 plus 1. That turns out to be the value which is equal to minus 0.4715177764, which is a negative. One of the value is positive, one of the value is negative. So the root lies between 0, minus 1. So a is equal to 0, b is equal to minus 1. These are the initial values of a and b. Then what is the value of c? C is equal to minus 0.5. That is, c is equal to 0 plus of minus 1 divided by 2. That is minus 1 by 2, which is equal to minus 0.5. So c is equal to minus 0.5. Now from here, I want to find out. This has to be substituted into this equation. That is e to the power of minus plus 0.5 star minus 0.5 whole square plus 5 into minus 0.5 plus 2 plus 1. If I solve this, I'll get the value of f of 0.5 is equal to that. F of 0.5 turns out to be the value which is equal to that. You will see that here, which is initially it is a equal to 0, b is equal to minus 1, c is equal to minus 0.5. What is f of a into f of c? I'll get the value. F of a into f of c is positive. So if it is positive, c becomes a. B remains as it is. So this procedure is continued. This procedure is continued until the end is obtained. That is 0.593, 0.577. That is the negative of that. Minus 0.593 and minus 0.577. So the approximate value is minus 0.577. This is the root of an equation if this procedure is continued. Similarly, we have one more equation here. That is this, f of x equal to e to the power of minus x equal to 3 log x. What has to be done here? I have to bring this to this side. e to the power of minus x minus 3 log x. That is f of x equal to this term. Now I have to substitute the value of x equal to 0. Here it is 0.5 and 1.5. If I substitute this into 0.5, this becomes e to the power of minus 0.5 minus 3 times log of 0.5. Similarly, f of 1.5 is equal to e to the power of minus 1.5 minus 3 times log of minus, it is not minus, 1.5. If you substitute this, solve this equation, you will get some value. One of the value must be negative and the other one must be positive. So if it is that, then we will consider this as initial values 0.5 and 1.5. So A is equal to 0.5, B is equal to 1.5. What has to be the new value of C? C is equal to 0.5 plus 1.5 divided by 2, which is equal to 1. That is C is equal to 1. So if then what is the value of f of C? F of C is equal to e to the power of minus 1 minus 3 log of 1. So if you solve this, you will get the value of f of C. F of C is equal to what? So the process is repeated once again, and if it is followed, you will get initially A is equal to 0.5, B is equal to 1.5, C is equal to 1. F of A is to be determined here, f of A, f of B, then f of C. Then based upon the multiplication of f of A into f of C, we will consider whether to assign the value of C to B or C to A. If it is positive, 1 must be assigned to A. If it is negative, C must be assigned to B. That is based upon this decision. This is the decision. So this is how approximately, ultimately this is the root of an equation. That is 1.187 is the root of an equation. For this term, 1.187 is the roots of an equation. Similarly, we have the assignment questions like this. In this assignment questions, you will learn that what is the value of x and initial values initially. Then we are going to find out the roots of an equation for all these type of equations. Let me take up and solve these assignment questions as well in my next and subsequent classes. Thank you very much. Thank you all.